to the Essex Reader YouTube channel. This is my second attempt at a YouTube video. The first one wasn't terrible, but I learned a couple of important things. One, which way the camera should be facing, and two, to maybe not worry so much about being nervous because I can edit this. I did it all in one take last time, and I think this time I might play around a little bit with some editing. So these are my bookshelves, and I thought I'd stand in front of them because this whole channel is supposed to be about books. I organise my books by colour, so through the rainbow, starting with red on this side, all the way through to, I did the corner unit in black, and then I've got a selection of white books here, and then I do actually have one bookcase left to fill, but I think it's going to take me a little while, so thank goodness. I also keep other things on there like paperwork and the two books that I collect, which is copies of Jane Eyre and copies of Howard's End. My bookshelves are the Billy bookcases from IKEA in, I think, the darker shade of wood. I toyed with getting the white ones, but I have a black dog and I wasn't sure if I could cope with dog hair, so I went for the kind of wooden effect. So this week I wanted to talk about the fact that I am currently on a book ban. I have put myself on book bans before, but they've not actually worked, and I've somehow wound up coming out of a charity shop or Waterstones or Foyles with a copy of something. But this time, the entire month of June, I have not bought one single book. And it has been extremely difficult. I probably make it worse for myself because I go to Waterstones almost every lunchtime at work. So I'm torturing myself, and I'm taking pictures of all these books that I want and all the ones that are coming out that I'm really excited about. But I have stuck to it. No books for the whole month of June. Extremely difficult to do. However, before I put myself on the book ban, I took myself on a little shopping spree, and here is the result. I had to treat myself to just a few more books, just to kind of one last hit before going cold turkey. So what I wanted to do today is talk you through which books I bought. It's kind of like a mini haul, I guess, although I know that a lot of people, when they do a book haul, they buy a lot more than this, so, but to me this is like a normal haul size. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. Not too bad. Some of them I managed to get a little bit of a discount on because they had a little bit of damage. So yeah, I thought I could talk you through why I chose these, and yeah. But before I talk about the ones that I bought on the book haul just before June, I also wanted to touch on the 2 books that I'm currently reading. I'm not usually reading one book at a time because I'm a bit of a mood reader. I tend to pick up things depending on how I feel. So if I'm reading something particularly dramatic or sad, but I'm not feeling like I want to feel sad, if that makes sense, I'll pick up something a little bit more lighthearted. This month, so I'm reading The Power by Naomi Alderman. I love this cover, it's so pretty. And when you take the dust jacket off, it's just as pretty underneath, which I love, and it kind of has like this like reflective jazz going on. So this book I've had for a while because obviously it's now out in paperback. So I bought it fully intending to read it straight away and then just got waylaid. But it's actually been picked for the book club that I belong to at work. So really excited. I'm about, well, I can tell you exactly. I'm 99 pages in. I love it. Couple of things are not irritating me, but I'm slightly concerned about. I don't know if I should say what they are though, because I think it might give some things away. So maybe when I've finished it, I'll do like a full review of this. Loving it so far though. The other book that I'm reading, which I only started yesterday, is Penelope Lively, Life in the Garden. It's another beautiful cover. I am a sucker for a good cover. And it's got that lovely waxy feel to it. I don't know what that is. When, you know when books feel like textured and some of the flowers are raised, which is beautiful. So I hadn't heard of Penelope Lively before, but this book is essentially sort of short stories, but more about what gardening means to her, how it appears in other literary works, what it stands for. It's just beautiful, and for someone who doesn't own a garden, I live in flats with I share a communal garden, it's really lovely to read about plants, and I really love that they have Latin names and kind of their own special language, which is, she has such extensive knowledge. It's quite beautiful to read. It flows really beautifully with the Latin names of the plants kind of woven into the text. Really enjoying that. It's kind of more of a chilled out read than The Power, which if you're reading The Power, you are probably well aware that it's not exactly a relaxing book. So yeah, loving this. So onto my mini haul before the book ban. The first book I want to talk about is How Not to Be a Boy by Robert Webb. This is hilarious. This is honestly so funny. I kind of wish I had got the audiobook, because I think he reads it, and I would love to hear him reading this because I think it would make it even funnier. I think it's a really important message about masculinity and what it means to be a man, a boy in today's society, and he touches on that, but the fact that he makes it humorous is what really is a winner about this book. Okay, so I'm going to cheat slightly and do 2 in 1. These are both by Agatha Christie. The first is The Body in the Library. I must admit I picked this because it had the word library in it, and I'm not au fait with all of Agatha Christie's titles. She's someone that I've recently started delving into since the BBC adaptations, and Then There Were None, which is actually the title of this one. This originally had a rather problematic title, which I won't go into here, but I much prefer this one. So I picked up 2 because they're relatively short. I think she's quite easy to read, and I do love a crime. I love a mystery. I love a murder, so that's fantastic. Haven't started either of these yet. This one in particular though, this is one of the ones where I was a bit cheeky and I got a slight discount. It had a very small tear. I don't know if you can see, just up there. But what I really love about this cover as well, one, how bloody awesome is this? The finger, because they're all gonna die. Oh, sorry. Well, no, actually, no, you know about that. That's fine. But I really love that it's a hardcover, and you take off this. Doing a really bad job. You take off this little thing here, and it's got some extra information about Agatha Christie and about the fact that this is the 75th anniversary special edition. I like to own special editions. I think it's quite nice. One of the other books in the haul actually is also a special edition, which I will explain now. So this one is P.G. Wodehouse, Something Fresh, which is the 100th anniversary edition of the first Blandings novel. Confession time. As someone who reads quite a lot of classic authors, I had never read any P.G. Wodehouse until I picked this book up. And was chastised for this from some of my other more literary friends. He's someone that I have heard about and just know enough that I know that I wanted to touch on him at some point, but just hadn't got round to it. But when I saw this, what caught my eye actually was the gold spine, although it's slightly scuffed on the front, which is really sad. And obviously it's now over 100 years old, which I love an old book. Again, it's one I haven't started. Really looking forward to doing so. Everyone I've spoken to says that P.G. Wodehouse has a real way with language, and his characters are very real, very funny. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to I'm imagining that it's kind of got a, well, chaps, that kind of vibe to it. Correct me if I'm wrong. So really looking forward to starting this later in the month. Next up is The Grace Keepers by Kirsty Logan. So I first discovered Kirsty through her book The Gloaming, which has mermaids on the front cover. It's also blue, it's beautiful. But this is her first book, so I wanted, as soon as I finished The Gloaming, I knew that I had to get some more of this in my life. So I picked this up. She writes very beautifully, and it's kind of almost fairy tale and reality mixed quite close together, so you can't always discern the difference, but I love that, because actually I think, it's going to sound really cliche, but I actually think there's more magic in the world than we initially might think, and the fact that she brings the two together just makes for a really, really wonderful book. Really, really looking forward to starting this. I think it might be quite a quick read, so I might start it once I finish something a little bit longer. I try again to mix in sort of longer reads with shorter reads to kind of mix stuff up. The cover on this is also stunning. I don't know if you can see, it's like a young lady in a beautiful moonlit boat scene. But yeah, really excited about this one. This is Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. David Mitchell is a writer that I had never checked out. I have a friend in America who is obsessed with David Mitchell, had read everything, kept saying to me, buy them. I just hadn't got round to it. And then I picked up Slade House, which is quite a dinky little book. Read that in a day, absolutely adored it. Really, really fun, really quite creepy, eerie sense to it. I have then discovered apparently you're supposed to read David Mitchell books in a particular order. They're apparently part of one universal world that he has created, but then I've read other things about the fact that it doesn't actually matter. And having read Slade House with no prior knowledge of any other David Mitchell books, I didn't struggle to understand the story. The characters stood by themselves, which obviously is impressive. However, I have picked up Cloud Atlas because I've heard that it's the next one to kind of dip my toes into. I'm hoping it's as good as Slade House. I really, really love this cover. It's got a typewriter with loads of like paper and coming up. It says on the back that it's about 6 interlocking lives and 1 amazing adventure. I really enjoy separate characters coming together to form a narrative. I think that's really exciting, especially if they are quite different, quite sort of segregated. I think that's really fun. So yeah, I've got high hopes for this after Slade House, so hopefully it'll be good. And last but not least, this is How to Find Love in a Bookshop by Veronica Henry. I will admit, I chose this simply based on the title. I have this thing for books about bookshops. I'm going to do a separate video where I pull together all the books that I have that are either about books, bookshops, libraries, books. So I just have this thing about, well, I think if you love to read and you love books, then books that are about your favourite thing are obviously going to be a good choice. So there, I saw the title, I was like, yes, I don't need to learn how to find love, but how to find love in a bookshop can only be a good thing. It says on the back, Amelia has just returned to her idyllic Cotswold hometown to rescue the family business. Nightingale Books is a dream come true for book lovers, but the best stories aren't just within the pages of the books she sells. Amelia's customers have their own tales to tell. I already just love this. It's a bookshop, there's people, they've got lives. I'm really, really, really excited about this. I can see me picking this up as a cheeky in between other things that I probably should be reading before it. Really excited about this. If you've read this, please let me know what it's about. I'm not massively into the cover. I'm really funny about covers. I'm going to put it out there. I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover. I kind of do, and I'm pretty sure other people do too. Not loving this. It's kind of, I don't know, I just feel like they could have done more with it, and it doesn't look very, like the bookshop doesn't look very exciting. It's not got enough books in it. But I'm hoping for good things. So yeah. So that's the end of my mini book haul. My book ban ends on Friday the 29th of June, and then I am permitted to buy more books. However, I am going to try really hard not to. You can probably see I have a significant amount of books, and I certainly have not read all of them. So I think what I need to do is put together some kind of, not to be read pile, but almost, because I just think that pile would be absolutely enormous and quite threatening, but maybe a list of a few books that I want to tackle next, especially as some of those from that haul, just going over them now, I'm super excited about them, so I should probably delve in. So I think my next video, I'll probably talk about the books that are about books. I discovered a couple of new ones actually on a trip to Waterstones recently. One of them was called Dear Fahrenheit 451. It looks like it's going to be a really huge title for summer. I don't know, I didn't look at the publication date, but I haven't seen it before. If you've read it, let me know. I'd really love to hear about it. Please give this video a thumbs up. I'm just a sad Essex girl trying to talk about books. Subscribe if you want to, or at least get your friends to. And then follow me on Instagram. It's the Essex Reader with underscores in between each word, and I would love to chat with you about books and reading and books and books. Yeah, let's be friends. Yeah, until next time,